Hi guys, the topic of my speech today is whether addiction is a disease or if it is a choice. I have been affected by addiction in my family, and I work in it every day. I truly believe that addiction is indeed a disease. Before I was educated on addiction, though, I felt that it was a choice, and that it should not be classified as a disease whatsoever. But now that I am more aware of it, and have really seen the effects of it, and done the research, I definitely believe that addiction is indeed a disease. The National Institute on Drug Abuse has defined addiction as a chronic relapsing brain disease that is characterized by compulsive drug seeking and use despite the harmful consequences it has on one's body. It's also important to note that chronic disease is described as a long-lasting condition that can be controlled, but it cannot be cured. So different diseases that you have are heart disease, you have lung disease, um, you have things like diabetes, obesity. You can control those, but you will never be able to fully cure those. And I think that's really important to realize that addiction is a disease. A addict can go to treatment, they can become sober, but they will forever be living with their addiction. They will forever be fighting to keep that under control and keep their sobriety. And it really only takes one little thing for them to no longer be sober. So it's really also important to know that when someone feels pleasure, there are chemicals in their brain that are released, and addictive substances cause your brain to release higher levels of those chemicals associated with pleasure. One of those chemicals is dopamine, that is most often found in the brain. The more chemicals that are released by the brain in regards to the substance use, the more the brain will need to feel normal. So if you look at it, someone takes a small amount of drugs and they can get high off of it. They feel great. There's a lot of dopamine that is in their body that's being released. But the more they use that substance, the more of a buildup and dopamine levels are needed in order to release that dopamine. So after a while, it really takes a lot of a substance for someone to feel that same pleasure that they did once feel after such a small amount of drug. Most people will argument that it is not a disease, that it is a choice. If you think about it, every single one of us makes a choice. We make a choice to go to the gym. We make a choice to eat healthy or to eat like crap. The minute you start eating healthy and you start going to the gym, you can easily become hooked on that. You have anorexic people that, they go to the gym every day. They work out for hours on hours on hours. That is a disease. So why wouldn't addiction be a disease? You can choose to use that drug, but you don't know how your body is going to react. And everyone's body reacts differently. So for the first initial time, it is definitely a choice. You've chosen to pick it up. You've chosen to, take a sip of that alcohol. You've chosen to put that drug in your body. But your brain then converts it over into an addiction and a disease because you no longer have that choice. You lose all ability to be able to fight for yourself, to be able to control your behavior. You are, no longer able to think of what is right and what is wrong. Your body is telling you you need that drug, so you go and you do everything you need to get that drug, to get that high and to feel that way. Attached, I have put in a picture of the kind of like the brain reward system and different colors of the brains for different people. You have a normal brain, you have a brain of an obese person, a cocaine user, and an alcoholic. And so it is there are 4 different colors. You have your brain in the overall that is blue. Then you have red, which is a high dopamine level in the brain, normal interest, normal pleasure, not really affected. You have the yellow in there, that is the medium levels of dopamine, difficulty, most people have difficulty feeling joy or pleasure. And then you have green, which is a really low level of dopamine in your body, and you really have a lack of pleasure. So the normal brain has an equal amount of all of those colors. They have normal pleasure, they have interest and everything. You look at the brain of an obese person, they do have some of that red in there, but they're mostly yellow and green. They have a difficult time feeling joy. They have difficult time feeling pleasure. Then you have the cocaine user. Most of their brain has yellow in it for where those receptors are, and they really have a difficult time, feeling joy. And then they have, a good chunk of green in there as well, which is really a lack of pleasure. There's no dopamine, so they have to use more of that substance to be able to get that pleasure and interest. And then there's the alcoholic. The alcoholic, they have some of that normalcy in there with that red, but theirs is mostly yellow. So they have difficulty feeling joy and pleasure, but it's not, low and minimal like a cocaine user. So I think this picture was really good. It kind of just shows you all around the effects that, and different things have on your body. And it really shows why I feel that it is a disease and it is not a choice. You don't really realize the effects that drugs can have on the brain and the amount that it makes you need that substance to continue on with everyday life. It's kind of like an obese person. They love their food. They need that food in their life to feel their pleasure. One of the quotes that I did come across while I was doing my research is, "A disease is what happens in the body as a result of their choice." So if you think about it in all aspects, you have a person that's obese. Their choice was to eat food and continue to eat food. So now it's turned into a disease, kind of like a cocaine user or just a drug user in general. They chose that drug. It's now turned into a disease in result of that original choice. Alcoholics are the same way. So I really think that it's important for people to know that this is now a disease. It's not a choice. You choose that first initial time, and then after that, it is a disease. Your brain has rewired itself to need that substance in order to make it through the day.